been basking in it for the last 30 minutes. My God. I feel like a seafront village after the Vikings have left.
Oh, she's horrible. I've made a ghastly, ghastly mistake.
Before I go into this, I am not going to tell you how we know this. Just suffice it to say, it's likely true. The Acolyte is being soft canceled. Despite it going to what they said is post-production and Headland telling whomever that it was wrapped, which is a convenient way of not having to go to work because she is a writer and she is part of the WGA. Sparrow has learned that the Acolyte is no longer happening. It's a soft canceling, kind of like Rian Johnson's trilogy, this mythological thing that everybody talks about that never happened. And actually, Rian Johnson now even admits in his own way that that show is dead. Now, I don't know what this means, but considering we've never seen a sizzle reel, it's been hampered with a lawsuit, that all we've gotten are shitty behind-the-scenes pictures. You know, it was obvious there was something off about the show, and now it's done. But let's talk a little bit about why it's good that it's done. First off, we all know where Leslye Headland came from. She did that Netflix show, Russian Doll. She's got another one coming out with Freeform, but she came from Harvey Weinstein. She was his assistant for 6 years. And it's hard for me to imagine that she has been able to get away without being deposed by these girls' lawyers, that she's been able to actually get acquainted with somebody like Kathleen Kennedy. And but maybe this says a lot about Kennedy, that she was only able to get someone of this caliber to want to do a TV show for Star Wars. And what bothers me is that Headland absolutely did not want to know anything about the franchise. She wanted to make a femme-centric martial arts Star Wars show. Stupid. We don't know how she got the money to even do the sizzle reel that she probably did. And the fact of the matter is, the show, they're being sued for it. Lucasfilm is being sued by Karen McCarthy, who is a huge producer in Hollywood. Karen McCarthy is connected to people like Tom Hanks and others, and Leslye Headland screwed her over. Okay, let's talk about the other things that are wrong. The fact of the matter is, Headland, no one on the supposed Acolyte shoot paid up the licensing fees to the rightful government agency in England, and Companies House, which is the agency that files the Notice of Gazette, said basically what she did would end up going to the Crown. And, you know, if you're a producer, you've got to be on top of what licenses are owed, what fees are owed, and account for every penny. I mean, literally every half penny, every tenth of a penny. And yet, Headland didn't do that. And now we've got this issue along with the lawsuit that by July 23rd, if Headland does not pay this, all materials, chattel, everything goes to the UK government, to the Crown. The fact of the matter is, Leslye Headland hates George Lucas. 2019, she was recorded on a podcast attacking George Lucas for being the sole arbiter of what Star Wars is about. That's like attacking God for inspiring the Gospel of John. Okay, this is the author and the creator of Star Wars, and she's literally ripping him apart. And when she got to be the quote-unquote showrunner of the Acolyte, she filled the writer's room with people who were not fans. And they were purposely not fans because they don't like Star Wars. But here's Leslye in her own words talking harshly about the creator of Star Wars.
This is like what we understand to be Star Wars, like the idea that like that only came from George Lucas, that only George Lucas holds the key for what we understand to be Star Wars is just untrue. And I think the prequels are an excellent example of that. I mean, the idea that like when you're hiring a director, that everyone is sitting in there waiting for George Lucas and not for the person who's going to know to hire Ralph McQuarrie, that's the problem. That's the misogyny and the problem with the auteur myth as it stands today, because they're not thinking this is the person that will hire the right people and this is the person that will be able to create the lookbooks and direct people to get them to that place. They're just thinking, do you have all the answers? And the truth is that nobody does, and anybody that says they do is lying.
You got to admit, there's a lot of hubris and arrogance and I'm going to say bigotry and hatred in what she says here. She's also an idiot. She's stupid. And you can hear it in her words. Look, there's no way this incompetent tool should have ever been anywhere near Star Wars. And this goes to show you that not only is Kennedy just a bad studio head, she's not a good administrator. Because look at the people that she surrounded herself with. Leslye Headland, Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant for 6 years. And what was she using her as a crash helmet to not get fired? That's stupid. Because blackmail will get you killed or it get you out of a job and there's nothing you can do about it. And I think we're headed in that direction. All right? Because look, if Pixar is now being looked at with the hairy eyeball, so is Lucasfilm. Now, let's go to this video, watch the whole thing, and you explain to me in the comments what you think about her now.
Say that like I think white women need to kind of step up their game, to be quite honest. Like sorry, but I'm calling you bitches out. Like you really do, because like, you know, there's like I couldn't agree more with everything that these brilliant women are saying, but like I'm also seeing the silent killer, which is a lot of white women at the top who are kind of reinforcing a lot of old ideas. I think a lot of it, you know, to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'll just speak from my own personal experience, it's just like I wasn't sure how to be an ally. I wasn't sure what type. I got so caught up in like what kind of terminology I was supposed to be using and being politically correct, and so as I started to rise in television, I started to just get more blunt and just start saying like I would like a black writer, because if I said diverse, you know, you get well, white is diverse, which is something somebody said to me, and I was like, wow. I was like, it's not cool, but to really, you know, I reached out to my, you know, the women that I respect who are not white writers and directors, and I said, what should I say? What language should I use? You know, and I think it's worth it if you're in a position of hiring power or green lighting power to like reach out to people that are not like you and say, what can I do to be an ally, and how can I support writers of color and LGBTQ and disabled writers? Like, what can I do, and what kind of vocabulary should I be using? Because I think it's just easier. I just see it in the room. Like, I just see them kind of go like, it's just easier. Like, the guy at the top's louder. It's harder to say like, I think this should be a black writer. I think this should be an Asian American actor. I think it should be this type of like. I would like to cast, and you know, really, I find it a lot as well with. As a queer woman, like with gay characters, whether they be gay men or gay women, where I'm saying like, that's not a gay person. Like, sorry, like this is not a gay person. Like, we're not representing that. in the storyline. Like you basically want me to cast someone that you find attractive, straight white man, and that you think what you think a lesbian looks like, and that can be very frustrating as well. So I think if we can get some of these people, I'm rambling. I'm gonna stop talking.
The show was soft canceled because, I mean, you saw how she's an incompetent human being. The fact that she walked out on the stage at Star Wars Celebration this year and cried about how Star Wars saved her. I want to vomit. She's the biggest phony, lying sack of crap on the planet. First off, she's not a fan. After what she said about George, she can't be a fan. There's absolutely zero respect. The only person that could qualify as being competent in Star Wars and the matter similar to him, to George Lucas, is Dave Filoni, and Dave would never say what she said. Dave would say, George is my mentor and I can only succeed him. All right? That's how you do this. You don't sit there and say this shit and then you go, the women in Hollywood forum or whatever act like a condescending, pandering, privileged white Karen and expect Star Wars fans to go, yeah, we want her to do this. No, none of the pictures were inspiring. I know for a fact Kennedy was told no twice. That's my theory, I think, is being proven now with the soft canceling, that the show is not going to happen. And with the lawsuit, this is all on Kennedy. This is Kennedy's fault. Kennedy hired this dumbass. Kennedy knew what she was doing when she hired her. There was absolutely no reason to have this Philistine anywhere near Star Wars, and yet there we were. And now, the millions of euros or pounds or dollars that they did spend are lost. And probably a lot of it will be Camilla and Charles's Thursday night movie, sizzle reel joke, okay? Because that's what this is. And this thing is going to go into the Rian Johnson trilogy, never happening, but the mythology of it will linger because that's exactly what's going to happen. Okay, again, I can't tell you everything I know, but it's done. And it's maybe they'll announce it. I mean, look, I fully expect some really harsh crap to happen at Lucasfilm after Indy 5 comes out. Okay, like the week after. Okay, after what Steven Spielberg did on behalf of George and Harrison to Kathleen, and actually, when I think about it, he was the perfect person to do it because he had been her champion, and she screwed him over too. After all that, I think there's going to be mega changes coming to Lucasfilm, whether there's a sale or not. Okay, so this has been a tremendous day for news, guys. Keep glued here because all hell is breaking loose at Lucasfilm. This is Steph signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy.